All right, we had some. I did ask for questions before we get into the Big Ten preview that we're going to break down. First and foremost, this is coming from @RobDoster on Twitter. To how good is Victor Wembanyama? Is he? Have you ever seen a prospect as good as him at this same level as him? Because there's only one that I can think of, honestly.
LeBron and Sam Bowie. And the reason I make that Sam Bowie thing is because there's a lot of similarities between how they move and Bowie didn't have the same kind of jump shot. Here's the thing with Wembanyama, that floor is absurdly high because say something happens to where he can't go inside or something like that. He shoots the ball so well at 7'4", and he's so long and he can cover so much ground. I saw Richard Jefferson. He said something along the lines of if LeBron and Wembanyama were in the same draft class, he's taking Wembanyama. We've never seen anything like it. That's the big thing. That's the hard part about it. Now, people are like, I was hard on the Chet pick last year going number 2, Chet Holmgren. To me, it's different because of how Wembanyama holds his weight. Like his back straight, he walks straight up. To me, Chet is very narrow and he's hunkered over forward. Like his body composition is a little weird to me. That's the reason I think he got hurt, because he doesn't really function in a completely athletic way. Wembanyama's shoulders are back. He holds his weight right, and he's so stupid athletic at 7'12" or whatever he is. He's an alien. Like he is an alien, an 8-foot wingspan, 7'4", 7'5". They list him at 7'4". Have you guys seen pictures of him besides Zach Edey?
Yeah.
He's much bigger. Like that's the scary part about it. Now he's not as girthy. You like that word, girthy, but at the same time, that guy is stupid athletic at 7'5". I've never seen anything like it. He's as good a prospect as I've ever seen in my life. He's just not that girthy.
He's what everybody wanted Chet Holmgren to be. Right? Like there's a lot of good things there's a lot of good things about Chet as a prospect. And I don't want this to sound like I'm coming on here and I'm just taking a dump on the guy that just got hurt, right? Like he's right. going to be a good NBA player if he can stay healthy. That looks like it might end up being an if. But I mean, that's kind of what happened when like you knew that was coming, right? You knew that you have a 7-footer that weighs 200 pounds that plays the way that he plays. Like health issues was always going to be a thing. The reason why I think he is probably the best prospect that I've ever seen, at least in that same conversation with a Zion Williamson and with a LeBron James, is because you cannot say that you've ever seen them do anything before, right? Look at a guy like Giannis. There is no comparison to Giannis when it comes to players that are currently in the NBA. You look at a guy like KD. There is no comparison to KD. Like KD is KD. LeBron is LeBron. Zion is Zion. Giannis is Giannis. Victor is Victor, right? You can't compare him to anything that we've seen before, and that's what's going to end up being the difference maker for him. It's not like you're drafting him to try to fill a role or replicate what you already see. You're drafting him because nobody knows what the fuck to do against a player like that, right? When you're that big and you can shoot it, the one that stood out to me more than anything else, Fanta, was there was a clip of him on a fast break, right? And it kind of he's running full speed. He's on the right sideline. It gets flipped to him behind the back by Devontae Jones, the old Michigan point guard. And he catches it, takes one dribble, sprinting straight to the corner on 1-2s, turns his body full speed at 7'4" on the run, steps into a 3, kind of has a little bit of fade, but he's in the corner. He doesn't step on the sideline. He doesn't step on the 3-point line, rises, elevates, and it's a swish. And it's just like, that is a difficult shot for a shooting guard to take when you're running full speed one direction, to turn your momentum, go straight up and make a shot like that without stepping on any lines. And he did it at 7'4" and 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
No, he defies logic. He defies what we normally have seen in the world of basketball. It is nonstop fun. And what I think about last week, before talking about both prospects, because I do want to talk about Scoot Henderson, is that the NBA showed yet again last week why. There's the NFL, which brands itself. It speaks for itself right now. The product literally speaks for itself. MLB does not know how to market anything. They're scheduling playoff games in the middle of the day where the interest wasn't very much there to begin with, nor alone when people are at work. The NBA makes the best effort and continually has the best results when they implement something or do something different and put it to a national TV audience and figure out ways to elevate their talent and elevate their product. We are all starving for basketball at the moment. We all want basketball to come back in reality. We don't want preseason games. We're ready for the season to start. The NBA putting those 2 games on last week, which was all their concept, they put that in the schedule. That was incredible marketing of your stars. It's exactly why when you convince people to come to Ignite, last week, the NBA showed the benefits of being a member of Ignite. You weren't battling with a bunch of different games. I know the college route's better, but I just loved what they did from a product standpoint. And you guys have talked about Wemby. Wemby's incredible. I mean, you name it, he did it. It was beyond impressive. But if I have the number 2 pick, I am not going to have any tears, because what Scoot Henderson did in that first game, particularly his playmaking ability, and I don't want to hear any doubts when you consider who's on the other side of that matchup and the fact that Wemby is Wemby, like Victor is in his own class. It was pretty damn impressive that Scoot held his own to the degree that he held his own and showcased his talent and his skill set, because he showed why he deserves to be number 2 in that class with everything he did. I was impressed with his defensive ability as well. So kudos to the NBA for putting that on last week. It was exceptional.
Yeah, the only thing that I will say,
the NBA is right now too.
But here's what I said. I don't mean to cut you off, to you, but I want to go back on that point that Fanta just made, is that I think, and you're not wrong. Like I'm not disagreeing with you. The NBA had to do that to be able to generate some hype for its G League program, the guy that is playing overseas, right? But that's what happens every single night. Like a game like that on national television, when Cade Cunningham played, every single night people reacted that way. When Zion played for Duke, every single night it happened that way. You didn't have to manufacture the 2 games that were exhibitions played in front of empty arenas in this G League Ignite arena that you're trying to make be a thing, right? You didn't have to manufacture hype in October when the sport isn't even going to be able to get people to pay attention to it. It happened every single. When Trae Young was playing at Oklahoma, he led SportsCenter every single night. When Zion Williamson played at Duke, he led SportsCenter every single night. These were games. Did they even really play? Like you got a little bit of buzz. You got the NBA draft podcasters all hyped about it. Sam Vecini was going nuts. But like once you get past that, how long are people going to remember this? It was a one-off thing, and that's what you have to generate.
I disagree. I actually disagree with you only because I think I will remember this game. Like I will remember that game.
What I'm saying is you'll remember that performance, and then it's just going to be a thing that happened 6 months ago, as opposed to being like, all right, Zion. Like if Scoot Henderson was playing college basketball and you got a performance like that, let's just say that he was playing at like Auburn and you got a performance like that at Arkansas, right? And he went nuts. Next game coming up, you got Kentucky at home. All of a sudden, again, everyone is talking about the fact we got Scoot going up against John Calipari, going up against Case, and like that is the difference. You have to create showcases and manufacture hype for these games like it's an AAU event, as opposed to actually putting them in a season. And I understand the appeal of going the G League Ignite route. I think that there are going to be specific players where it makes a ton of sense to go get that bag, go make yourself be a professional. Don't have to worry about class. Don't worry about the distractions that come with frat houses and sorority houses and all these different parties that when you're on campus, right? It makes a lot of sense for a lot of guys to go to the G League route. If you're looking to generate hype and you're looking to generate a brand and you want to find a way to build that up, it's college basketball all the way. You don't have to manufacture this stuff in October, 6 months ago, right? That is going to be the biggest, the most exposure that you get for a Scoot Henderson, Victor Wembanyama thing in this entire draft process. And it happens 8 months before the draft. With college basketball, from January until April, whoever those biggest players would have been, they would have been on national television every single night. And to me, that is the biggest difference when it comes to the route that you have to go. You don't have to force your hand to get to try to find a way to. Am I making sense to you? Like,
yeah, but the only problem is without a game like this, the world wouldn't have been introduced to Steve Ho Ufat. So, like, we need to keep it all in perspective here. The people needed to know who Steve is.
No,
so, like, let's keep that in perspective too.
There's 2 E's in there. It's Steve.
I know. That's why I said Steve
Ho Ufat.
Exactly right.
What a legend, by the way. What a legend.
He's been a good player for a long time. I had to do a double take when I was like 24. Like I was like, that's not this guy's name.
You played against him?
Huh?
You played against them?
No, but whenever you're over there, you keep up with everybody because you're looking at jobs.
And you do make a lot of sense, Rob. I mean, I think I see both sides of it. I'm with you on the college route and the fact that the publicity also creates itself. Absolutely. I think if you don't have that event last week, then we're really not talking about them at all. We don't remember that matchup.
Great event. Like you had to do it.
But if you put it at the beginning of December, it just doesn't do the same. Like I just felt like at the time it was on Tuesday night, you guys were scrolling through Twitter. It was the thing that everyone was talking about. There was no football going on. There was no, there's nothing of consequence going on. So
it's the same reason they put the Champions Classic on a Tuesday every single season. They moved it off Friday because then it becomes the thing happening that night. It's the same reason when you go through and look at the ACC Big Ten schedule. What night are those games? Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. You don't have to compete with any football, high school, college, or professional. And so it was very smart when they did it. It was very smart to help build the hype and generate this hype. It was smart for them to try to showcase like what the G League Ignite program is. But it's something that you have to force because no one gives a shit about minor league sports. That's the bottom line. People care about the school that they went to or the team that they're a fan of. And the byproduct of that is you get to hype up all of these great athletes and great players that go to these schools, whether it's football or basketball. That's what
I'm with you. There's only one player that's done what Victor's done though. Here, like he's the main option on a really good team in the top league in France, and he's averaging 17-8. There's only been one player ever be that effective at the European level at that age.
Was his name Luka?
That's it. And like the fact that Victor's doing all that stuff, you were able to get a glimpse of it. And then not only that, like it's harder to score in Europe. It's harder to score in Europe because that lane closes down in a hurry. Like the fact that he's able to, he came over here and he's like, holy cow, there's a lot of room.
Well, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter. All he has to do is just got to do the Boban, right? Where he puts his hand up like this and no one can get it. Have you ever seen that clip when I can't remember?
He does it with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, and he's like this and just holding it up.
Yeah,
doing that, but you have like point guard skills and the ability to shoot like your Ray Allen. Like,
he was unbelievable. There was so much space for him to operate. It was crazy. Like he didn't have all these 7 foot, 280 pound Serbians just beating the heck out of him. Like he was like, man, there's a lot of room.
They were running him. They were running the 7'4" dude off of pin downs.
I know.
What in the world is going on right now? What the hell is happening?
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
It'll be the first scene of a 30 for 30. It really will be someday.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We're dropping our merch. We got to start calling Underwood Daddy Brad. But I'm a big pod guy. Breaking news. The Field of 68 has an online store, and it's your one-stop shop for the latest and greatest merch in college basketball and college football. You can find shirts to support your favorite team, make fun of your rival team, or boast Field of 68 catchphrases like Daddy Brad, Cussin' and Discussin', and the Star Heels. Go to www.fieldof68.shop today and enter promo code TOUCHDOWN for 20% off at checkout.